coming in hot.
Yes, we are live with Akram, Kilani, and Bishop. Bishop, I don't know your last name.
It's actually Billy Nellis, but everybody calls me Bishop.
Got it.
That's a nickname that I'm known.
That's where it comes from.
Got it. Cool. Well, welcome, guys. We are thrilled to have you here. I think this was Aiden's doing to have you guys here.
Yeah, we've been trying to make this happen for a while now, so it's awesome that you guys are in and we can finally have this convo. I know the audience will love this today.
Good job, Aiden.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan. I love it.
We dragged you guys out of Toronto, pulled you into Oakville to do this. So I'm going to jump in. Akram,
yes, sir.
You got to tell us first, maybe for people who don't know Kilani Jewellery, just tell us what you do, to paint some context, and then we're going to quickly go into the journey on how Kilani Jewellery exists today. So how do you explain to people who don't know you what you guys do?
Kilani Jewellery is a base jeweler in Toronto, Forest Hill right now. That's at 976 Eglinton Avenue West. You can find us on Instagram, on our social media, and you can find all the work we do. We're basically designers and artists when it comes into the jewelry world, and with the diamonds and the creations we have done in the past has put our name worldwide, and with a lot of big names like celebrities, athletes, and we can go all over these people too.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of them, and the reason it's a funny story. I think
I think our relationship started. Me and you were looking. It was more so you were looking for another gold chain, and we were looking everywhere across Europe. We couldn't find any good ones. Everything was hollow, no nice designs. And then I think it was on Instagram probably. I saw the Drake, the OVO, the O pendant you guys made. I know we'll get into that. Yeah, and then I'm like, Dad, these guys are in Toronto. We have to go check them out. And then
that's how it always works.
Yeah, and I wear gold chains. Sometimes it seems a little ridiculous, but it's a little bit of a nod to, this is going to sound crazy, I know it will, but it's a nod to people who understand the central banking system is kind of, if you don't own gold, you don't have real money.
Yeah.
The paper money kind of gets printed. So I wear gold chains almost as a sign to like a hat tip to people who understand that central banking is basically thievery. They're kind of stealing from us. So I kind of wear gold chains for this weird reason. But I could, to Aiden's point, we would go to Croatia every summer, and we would be fortunate enough to stop in other cities around Europe, Munich, Germany. We'd be in Italy. I remember being on the island of Capri in Italy, going to some of the nice jewelers there, and I'd pick up the gold chains, and I'd say,
light,
and they were light, because they were hollow. And then Aiden one day when we were back here in Toronto, he's like, Dad, I think I found this place called Kilani. I think they might have good gold chains. And I'm like, Aiden, we've traveled all over the world looking for I don't think people make nice gold chains anymore. And then we drove down to your store and we were just blown away. Walking into your store, which I know you had just opened that new beautiful location.
Yes.
But seeing
beautiful in there.
Yeah, all the gold chains and all the other jewelry you do just blew our minds.
Good.
And now we've referred multiple people here at Rockstar have been there. We refer people to.
Yeah, Andrew's in here today.
Yeah,
he's got a chain.
Yeah, multiple people.
Whoever is in here that don't have a chain, we have to take him with us.
Yeah.
We're going to get them all. We're going to get a truck. Nick's truck is outside. We're throwing everybody in the back of the truck, and we're going.
Sexy.
So you got to tell us the story, because you guys are you born in Iraq?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us the journey. How the heck? Because you guys to me are a wonderful, beautiful success story.
Thank you.
So how do you get from Iraq to owning this place, Kilani Jewellery in Toronto? Can you walk us through that?
Yes, sure. So I was born in Iraq, Basra, in the south side of Iraq. We all was raised there. Half of my family were born in Baghdad city, because after the 1990 war with the American and Iraq, we shifted because my dad was working with the petroleum companies, and at the same time he had his jewelry store to open on the weekends or late nights. So it's more of a business that was passed on to us through our ancestors, and it goes a long way, hundreds and thousands of years, because our families are linked to the Babylonian era, and they were always famous in art making and jewelry. So we moved out of Basra after the war, 1990, to Baghdad city to find a safer heaven for us and our family. And throughout the years, everything in Iraq started to kind of collapse. Businesses started to lose, and a lot of people started to move out of the country or finding a better way to go to different countries where it's safer for them and their families. We left Baghdad city in 1998 toward Qatar. My dad was working with the petroleum companies in Doha, Qatar. Now it's famous. They just had the World Cup there.
Yeah.
And from 1998, we were able to link with a lawyer that actually worked on our papers to be submitted for America in Canada as an immigrant or as a green card.
Because you guys didn't want to stay in Qatar?
At the time, it's like a little bit difficult. Like when we left Iraq, we left to find a path where it can give us safety, it can give us future, education in many ways, right? Qatar at the time was still on the rise, still coming up.
Okay, so it was still developing some of its
Yes.
systems. So that wasn't the place yet for you guys.
Yeah, and even what to do with schools. Like, remember, my dad is an engineer, and he was a senior engineer there, controlling over 300 employees under him. So it helped him out to link up with the Occidental, if you know, the American company for oil, BP, British company, and he was working with a lot of seniors, and through that, he built a big portfolio that helped us to actually get the papers to America and Canada at the same time. And I remember in March, that's when we found out that the American papers came out. And then within 2 to 3 weeks, we found out that we got the landed immigrant to Canada. So my dad is like, jackpot, let's go to these 2 different countries and see which one is best for us.
So before we get to you guys arriving in the U.S. and then in Canada, and for your family to leave Iraq, like with that kind of family history that you guys can kind of document, because my own family history, I can go back a little bit. I can't go back hundreds of years. And it sounds like gold and jewelry was in the family for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
it must have been that's just like rips your heart out to leave Iraq at that point. Like, I know there's reasons to leave, but was there a part of you that felt like you were leaving something behind, or how do you feel in that process?
Definitely with our religion, because we're a very rare religion from Iraq. It's about 250,000 that is in Iraq, maybe a little bit more with people from Iran. It's more of a...
What's the name of it?
Mandaiyan.
Okay.
Mandaiyan. It's one of the first religions. It follows John the Baptist, up to John the Baptist.
Okay.
So John the Baptist, he's the one who baptized Jesus, so we know that. Now we follow the same way of baptism traditions. We still dress up with the white clothes, get baptized into the rivers only. So it's like a very unique, very old, small religion that was involved mostly in art, like I told you, sculpturings, working on like jewelry, that's their trade.
Wow.
It was.
Okay, got it.
And when after the war, we found much more difficulties to be able to live in a society there, and it was very tough for religions to be expressed, and it started to get tight more, because when you have poverty, you have people are poor, they look, many things changes in their hearts toward other people, even toward their neighbors. So from that point, my parents had to find a way to actually save their kids, and then they end up selling out what they had, and then we just drove right through Iraq to Jordan in 1998. It was actually the new year. We celebrated with our families, and then we left around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, there was no flight from Iraq to anywhere else. The only path to leave Iraq was Jordan. And then from there, you can fly out anywhere else. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. So you probably have some friends then in Jordan who kind of made it to Jordan, stayed in Jordan, or did some of your friends from Iraq, did everybody leave once they crossed over into Jordan?
Well, most of the people with like religion and different faiths started to actually drive out of Iraq, and they found Jordan as like the door for them to be able to apply for papers or find a way to get refugee status and stuff like that. But I don't believe any people actually end up staying in Jordan.
They use Jordan as a springboard to somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of my friends I have in Australia, Germany, England, Holland, Sweden, Denmark, all the way down to New Zealand, and it keeps going on and on. Yeah.
Well, it makes travel fun. You have friends everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you guys come into Canada?
No, once we realized we actually got our papers to America and Canada, we decided to go to America because we have families and cousins in California and in Detroit, Michigan. The plan was we actually wanted to go to California, but one of our cousins, she drifted our idea and thoughts from going that way to go to Detroit, because she said in Detroit you're going to find a lot more Arabs or people from the same heritages that is available here, and it's going to make your life much easier to start a business here, because we knew we're going to come to this side of the world and take advantage of the heritage that we have and the experience in jewelry and open up jewelry business in North America. But when our mind got shifted to Detroit, we arrived there. We were living at the Ramada Hotel for over a month and something.
Oh, wow.
It was
Wow.
fun. It was in Dearborn, Michigan, so it's in the worst areas. Yeah, so we were there for over a month, living in a hotel. All our stuff is packaged in a storage room downstairs in the hotel. So it was a little bit difficult. But
Oh, man.
now
How old are you at this point?
I was 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, around 16 years old at that
Okay.
time. Yes. Now, finding my mom having difficulties to make her own teas. That's a very big difficulty for a lot of people, and she likes to make her own tea with her own pot, and cooking wasn't easy because we didn't know where we're staying. Are we gonna buy a home? Are we gonna rent a home? Are we gonna rent an apartment? Yeah. After a month, we realized that Detroit is not for us. And I was looking at my dad, and I remember the Canadian flag all my life when I was young. And at the time, Canada was very well known for being the most peaceful country, welcoming a lot of immigrants. And I would go to my dad. I was like, you know what? We gotta go down there. Let's go check out Detroit. We have the papers. We drive through, and we see it. So he had a voting option for us and the family to vote to see the majority where they want to go. We all decided only
It's you and two, but we didn't talk about your two brothers yet, but it's you and two brothers.
Tarek wasn't with us.
He was still in Iraq?
No, he was in Doha, Qatar.
Oh, he was in
okay.
Qatar.
Yeah, we left him there because the papers we were able to get because we were all under the age of 18. Anybody above the age of 18 cannot basically be coming in a part of the parents' family paperwork. So that's what he came in after we arrived to Canada after a year and a half or so. Yeah.
Got it. So you drove through Canada. You decide, okay, we're going to try it. And you move from Detroit after just a few months in Canada?
After a month and less than a week, maybe, we decided that's it. We're going to pack up, rent a van from Enterprise at the time.
Wow.
Packed up everything on top of the van and actually drove right through the border. And I still remember going through the immigration process and how they were very, very welcoming. This country is such a country, and it gives opportunities
cool.
to people from
That's
the
cool to
second you
hear.
arrive. Well, definitely. When you come in from such a war and in transition, you leave from Iraq to Jordan, staying there for 3-4 months till you get your papers to go to Doha, but because it's difficult, you cannot travel with the Iraqi passport.
Yeah.
Not everybody will tell you yes, you can come and you can have a visit.
Wow.
So you have to always have a paper for a visit, for anything. So it was difficult to move to Jordan and then move to Qatar and then build the paperwork to come to North America. So I believe for every parent, it's tough to move 4 kids, a wife, and a father. It's costly too at the same time. So when we drove through and we got into the immigration and the way they welcomed us and they were so joyful.
Cool.
So happy to see us, and we were so happy. We're like, see, this is why we needed to come here. See that? Look at the difference, And as we walked in, and they said, "Well, come and go in," and we checked in, and they checked all the stuff we have. While we're driving, I see the big Canadian flag waving, and that was
You knew.
yes.
Oh, wow.
That was a big moment.
Wow.
That was when I felt this is home. That's it.
Wow.
Wow. But then, so you feel good for a moment, but then the family has to go through the realities of settling in a new country, which isn't easy. No jobs. You're young. Your other brother's younger, correct?
Yes, Mojo.
Mojo's younger.
Yes.
So then what? Where do you guys find a place to sleep?
Just to make it so everybody knows, we are a family, mom and dad and 5 kids. We're 3 brothers, 2 sisters. My dad aligned them very perfectly. He did a boy, girl, then a boy, girl, then a boy. So we had to secure.
How did he?
I don't know. He wanted to make sure that the girls are always safe and secure between boys on both sides.
Smart.
Yeah. So when we drove in, when we actually got the paper, Tarek, my older brother, wasn't involved because he was older than 18 years old. But we promised that we're gonna bring him back. You're
not going to leave him behind.
Yeah. We promised.
Now I'm going to bug him about this.
Yeah.
Next time I see him at the store, Tarek, the family cut you off, man. They were trying to get rid of you. You just showed up in Canada. They didn't want you here, man.
No, it was a tough one.
I'm joking.
No. Actually, Tarek is a very beautiful story. How we were able to manage to get him in here too. But the funny thing, when arriving to Canada, because we didn't know anything. My dad had a friend that was an engineer working with him in the petroleum companies in Iraq at the time, but he know that he was here in Canada, and he had some type of contact with him. So he called him and he's like, okay, we're coming into Canada tomorrow. How can we find a place to live? Then the guy goes to him, no problem, I'm going to give you a number for a real estate agent. So we call this real estate agent. He's an older gentleman. He's like,
the problems begin. You mentioned real estate.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah.
And he referred us to an older man. He's like in the 70s, living in a senior home. And then we need an apartment. We are coming into Toronto tomorrow, so you need to find us something that we can live in. He's like, okay, guys, don't worry. Everything's okay. You make sure you just come in and the place will be ready for you guys. Okay, how much? Where is it? Where? He gave us the address. Now we're driving. We arrived to Toronto. We got to Scarborough. We exit on Brimley. Now, I don't know Brimley at the time, but I remember the day now, and I remember.
Yeah.
So we go to all the way by Brimley and Kingston Road. Just before, there's a senior home on the left side, or on the east side, east north corner.
Okay.
Okay, that's where it is. We arrived there. We don't know nothing. We don't know this is Scarborough. We don't know anything. We arrived to this apartment building. He's an older gentleman. We see all the seniors outside sitting and stuff. Like, hey, how are you? He's like, okay, guys, let's get in the luggage. Let's go upstairs.
In the senior home.
Yeah, so we don't know nothing.
That's insane.
So we arrive. He's a beautiful human being. He's still alive, but the story gets very much funnier as we arrived. So we go upstairs. We know that there's just a 1-bedroom and a living room. So it's like a studio kind of, and he has his bedroom, and it turned out to be his apartment. And we're like, man, and he had the whole entire living room laid up with mattresses so we can all sleep as kids.
Wow.
Right on it, yeah. So my dad is like, what is this? Is this your home? He's like, yeah, it's my home. Tomorrow we should be able to go and look for homes together. You can stay here. I go upstairs and sleep at my mom's home. What's going on here? And the man was living with his mom in the same senior home, and he had to go upstairs, and he let us stay in his home for about 5 days. But the story gets really difficult because you're a new immigrant, you have no credit. Everywhere we go, we do find apartments, but no one wants to give you rent.
You have no income, no credit history in the country.
Nothing to show for
and
it.
that's the difficulty. Then my dad is like, okay, one place to another place to a third place.
And people kept saying no.
No management will provide you anything, nothing, So, and even with that, like, you have to have a co-signer because they don't know if you're going to stay over a year or you're going to have money or not. Even when we offered to pay upfront, they still wanted to make sure there's a co-signer in the contract. So my dad called his friend and was like, okay, thank you for relating us to this real estate agent, but we're sleeping in his house and we need to figure out what we have to do. We need to find a place. Excuse me. And he's like, okay, no problem, guys. I will co-sign you. Come to my area, which is Whitby. I'll give you guys the address. Come by. You stay at my house. You eat. You finish. I know for a fact we're going to find you a place. We're going to rent it out. Okay. We packed up and we went that way. We got to Whitby, and the guy actually was waiting for us by buildings that are still there, and it's called White Oaks. So he's standing there, he's talking to the management, he's preparing all the papers, and like, okay, guys, we have the 3 bedrooms, boom, boom, boom. My dad signs the checks, gives them first and last. And literally, we walked upstairs, empty place. We put our luggages, decided on to go to a place like it was Zeller at the time.
Yeah, Zellers. Yeah.
Zellers, yeah, I remember.
So they took us to Zellers. We bought some like blankets, pillows, and we gathered ourselves together and we started our journey. That's how it actually started as we landed.
Wow, and that was the first home here.
Yes, and at this point, us landing into this building and knowing that now there is an apartment for us, we have achieved our success story right there, that we are going to start at least.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
What a crazy story. Bishop, I'm sure you've heard this many times, but just working with these guys, because your role right now, Bishop, is
digital marketer
for
manager for the
Kilani.
whole social media.
Yeah.
So anything that's the online infrastructure.
And the social media for you guys is killing it. We'll shout it out at the end again there. But it's
it's obviously does really well, and you're fortunate to have the beautiful jewelry to put on the social media.
Yeah,
It really kind of
100%.
works really well.
Yeah.
But so then you guys settle in, like step one is achieved. You get the family to settle into Canada. And then your father, I know he was in the petroleum industry, and I remember him telling me, I think he said he tried, and I don't know if this how accurate my memory is, but I think he was telling me he tried to get a job in the petroleum industry here, and they kind of shunned him a little bit and said, well, you don't have any like North American type education. I think they said he had to go to one of the colleges here. And I just remember thinking, this guy managed however many people in Iraq and in Qatar and had years and years or decades of experience. And the reaction was, hey, you know what, go get some diploma somewhere so you can prove you have some worth here in the country. Is that accurate? And that must have been devastating.
It is devastating because if I go back to before the war again, and my dad was an engineer at the petroleum company in Basra, the south side of Iraq. It was like very big, and they had all Americans and all type of engineers from all around the world actually was working in that compound, and it was a gated community for all the engineers and
Probably
their
some of
family.
the best engineers in that industry in the world.
Iraq had very much a lot of talent and a lot of geniuses and smart people that actually flew out of Iraq, and they flee the war and they to find other places or a better life kind of. But going back there, I remember we had a jewelry store, and my uncles too. The whole strip is jewelry stores, and it's my dad's, my mom's two brothers, one on the left, one on the right, and one looks after another. So if somebody wants to leave his jewelry store, he tells the next one, come outside, make sure everything's good. They go, but it was safe back then. It was like very, very safe in Iraq, and it was booming. Like business is always crazy there, and you have people from America coming to live in Iraq to actually in the oil industries, to get the oil out and work. And then suddenly now everybody in the world now, there's no mix, okay? Now my dad, he actually, he left the working on the oil companies, and he closed the jewelry store and took out all the gold. And he said, guys, whatever money we have, I know I have a plan. What's the plan? He's like, we're gonna go buy every warehouse that's actually going to close down in this war, from mechanical engineering supplies, welding supplies for welding underwater, welding above water, motors, pumps, everything to do with anything to do with manufacturing, infrastructure, bridges, oil industry, because he knows when the war is going to finish, all these companies and factories, they're going to actually assign some type of contracts to rebuild a bridge or do any of that. But now this guy is a smart guy. He went crazy. We started to travel with the cars, with my cousins and everybody. He buys the warehouses. We load everything into trucks, and then he puts one of us into every truck, and then we drive back to Basra to arrive all these equipment.
Wild.
Yeah, so it's a crazy story.
You guys are kids at this point.
Yes, but that was the only access to find, people you trust. That's number one. So us and our uncle family too, we joined in on how to get all this product back into the warehouses in Basra. And when the war finished, it got crazy. Remember, my dad was an employee at an oil company, and he had his jewelry store to, do his little trade that he loves from his ancestors and family, field of business, basically. So the war finished. Now, all these factories, let's say the milk, the powder milk, they wanted to rebuild so they can reoperate, so they can provide milk, because Iraq was banned from any imports or any type of business trades with a lot of countries. So the only path you got Jordan now, if you want to get trades. And for you to get like any supplies to build infrastructure, it has to go through the approval of the United Nations. Because, now the United Nations all together agreed that Iraq has to be banned from anything without any approval from the United Nations altogether to be voted on. Kaboom. The war finished. All these factories, all these oil industries started to put out contracts, and the man that has all the equipment and everything was my dad. And then we started up, and we had warehouses in Basra, warehouses in Baghdad, stores actually in Basra, like to showrooms there, showrooms in Baghdad city, And we were all working together as brothers and kids, and
What a smart guy your father
preparing
was.
it and
What
working.
an absolutely smart guy your father was.
It's crazy.
We call him the brain because he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the brain of the operation.
My mom thought he took the gold and put it into rusted stuff, and she's like, "You doing this to me? People are actually turning the rusted
We're
metal."
taking the gold and we're exchanging it for these rusted machines.
Yeah.
And it worked, and that was like
Wow. So you
that was
guys
the rise of
rebuild
Kilani.
some wealth that
Yes.
way, some money, some savings.
Yes.
That way.
That's literally
Holy smokes.
This is what I was talking to my dad. I asked him, "What do you think? Can you tell me like a tip about your story and our story?" And he's like, the most successful thing that happened that helped him in life, his saving and his portfolio in the oil industries, and working with so many different companies and rebuilding and operating and water companies. And like, I remember going to a lot of factories, and my dad is assigned to actually wrap up and build that places, and seeing how smart and what he's been through. And then when we arrive here, the second we arrived, the guy that actually welcomed us in the house, he looked at my dad, he's like, "I know. The first job you should start is a taxi cab." My dad looked at it, he was like, "I work as a taxi cab." He's like, "If I'm not going to work in the engineering industry, I go back to Qatar. I'm making $50K a month. They're big money they were paying back then, $50K a month.
Wow.
American dollar.
Wow.
Plus
Holy.
expenses, plus trip paid for 2 months complete for him and his family. Because he was
Sure.
he was a brain.
Specialized knowledge.
Yes. And when he decided to leave there, and when we came here, they kept calling him, the Qatarian petroleum companies, they were calling him for advices and asking him to come back.
But he wouldn't go.
Well, I have to tell you, because we started first Kilani, as we go, he actually went back after.
Got it.
Because
Okay.
they had a big project that they needed his brain to come back.
Okay.
So he promised that he will be back there just for the project. It took that project 8 years to be wrapped up.
Wow.
But he was there. He
And you
achieved
guys
the
stayed
success.
here.
And we stood here, but we opened up Kilani. He prepared us. He prepared the business. So weeks after we got the apartment building, and he bought a Ford Windstar minivan. It was actually one of the first cars I ever drove. He bought it, and when he wanted to go buy it, they didn't
Ford
want to
Windstar. That's the classic.
Yeah, very classic. And they didn't want to give him any finance or lease, so he had to buy it up front, and it costed $18,000 at that time. And he bought it, and we were so happy. We have a car, it's a minivan, and we furnished the place. And weeks within us being settled and knowing that this is it, because we really felt it. This is home. That's it. From the second we walked in, seeing the flag waving to us, that moment, for a child,
It was emotional.
very emotional. Even like thinking about like what we've been through, from war, hiding into bomb shelters, running from one country to another every day, changing schools. It's becoming tough. Now you're growing older. I was around 17 years old now.
Yeah.
So it's like the memory you have built in your past. There is joy. There's a lot of joy, families and times, but there was a lot of hard times too at the same time. So within these weeks, we kept talking about how we can actually work, because everybody's telling my dad, "Oh, you're not going to be able to apply or get a job," because his friend is an engineer. Remember, that brought us to Whitby, and he told him, "Kilani, for you to be able to actually work with the oil industries in here, you're going to have to go back and apply and study again for at least 3-4 years before you get the diploma." And he's like, "I teach people."
I'm the professor. I'm not the student.
He's the brain.
And remember, when you in a war zone and everything gets demolished and you're rebuilding, you're gaining more experience on renovating than building from scratch.
Yeah,
and when
totally.
you're you're renovating everything with equipments from all around the world, because now you're not able to bring any equipments into Iraq. So for you to rebuild an infrastructure, it cannot be built with all German equipment. It could be German, American, but you have to be a brain and smart enough to be able to put all these different things that
Piece it all together.
and piece it all together to operate a factory or get an oil industry to start pumping gas, natural, stuff like that.
So then you guys are here. He goes back.
Well, so we decided within these weeks, when we settled in, we decided to open Kilani Jewellery.
And this was one of the market, like this was in one of the flea market kind of places.
Yes,
You got
so-
like a kiosk, like a stall there.
We went first. I remember we went to Pickering Flea Market.
Okay.
And my dad, he's like, "That's it, guys. We gotta focus. This whole engineer thing here, it's not gonna work, and I'm not gonna go backward. I'm gonna keep working on opening our business and think about how we can take advantage of our heritage and the business that was passed on to us with the experience we have, and how to actually embed it into the business that we can work in here and open up." So we went to Pickering Flea Market. There was a jeweler there that actually...
I just can't believe you left Iraq. You go through Jordan, you're in Qatar, then you get through Michigan, you come to Canada, and you end up at the Pickering Flea Market. You know, when you walked into the Pickering Flea Market, whoever's organizing it, they don't even know who they're dealing with at this point. Like, they don't know the family. They're about, you know, with your drive, your passion, your skill set, your knowledge, your family history. Who's about to walk through the doors there, you know? Anyway, sorry, continue.
You know, it's actually crazy because I never seen a flea market, but I did see something similar like it.
Like a bazaar. I don't know how you
a bazaar.
Yeah, and my aunt used to sell eggs, and we would call it a bazaar. But
Yes.
yeah, same kind of thing. Like
Same
it was outdoor. This one was outdoor.
Correct.
Everybody kind of hustling whatever they had.
Yes.
Lots of talking, negotiation,
Bargain place.
money flying back and forth.
Correct. And this is what a lot of people created their businesses and their life.
Sure.
They built their legacy probably on these things, and some people succeed, some people didn't. But our story was a bit different. You know, we get there, the management. How we got there, because you know the friend keeps telling us where you can find a market that you can start in at a basic place and start from there. You know, so we went to Pickering Flea Market. The management said, "No, we cannot offer you any booths in here that to be available for jewelry stores, because the jeweler there that they have, he basically made sure the management don't open any other jewelry store." So we asked, we kept asking our families and friends and stuff like that, where's other places? And they're like, "Oh, go to Scarborough at this flea market. There's a whole jewelry market." We get there. We found a place that actually somebody wanted to sell his place because he actually opened in a mall. So he had a little booth. And he's like, "I can, you know, the management, they're like, this booth you can take." He's trying to sell it, sell the showcases, sell the safe, everything. You have to pay for all this stuff for you to take over. My dad is like, "Okay, sold." So we bought it. It was like $6,000, $7,000. But it's nothing. It's a showcase. And I started painting, and everybody coming in, give me advices on how to do business. And my dad keeps telling me, never listen to anybody. You know, focus on our goal.
Your dad's the best.
Yeah, it's crazy because he is leading us throughout the way, you know.
Yeah.
So he sees me, I'm painting and I'm preparing, and he sees all these jewelers, because there's over 30 jewelers in this market, coming in to give me advices. "Oh, don't paint this color. Oh, don't do this. Why did you buy these displays?" Because my dad, what he did when we first opened up, bought the place, he took me and my younger brother, and he said, "Let's go buy the displays where you put the showcases on." So me and my younger brother, when we went to a display shop to buy displays, we ended up buying the most expensive ones, and that like the nicest looking ones.
Yeah.
So when we arrived to the flea market, and I'm trying to put the display and how all the showcases are gonna look, one of the jewelers comes in and like, "Man, you're stupid. You just bought all these expensive displays. It's a flea market. All you gotta do, buy the red trays and just put your gold on it. Look at everybody here." I was like, "Okay, my friend, you take care of yourself and how you're thinking. I take care of myself and how I'm thinking." My dad always believed in the young generation, and he believed coming into North America by having all these people telling him, "Oh, you got to go back to study and you don't have Canadian experience." He's like, "You know what? I got kids. I'm going to build their experience, and we're going to move on from there to a bigger position, you know?" So he invested into us, and he kept leading us, showing us the way, and that's how it all started. Once it started, after, like I say, 6 months, within the first month, we actually made business, big business, and people were coming back.
Why? What was it that you guys were doing in that market that was other than the showcases, which made you look different, which is important?
Yes,
That's important. Let's face it. But was it the jewelry selection, the quality of the design? What was it?
What we did, we focused on selling Italian-made jewelry.
So like gold necklaces,
ladies necklace with the bracelet, earring, necklace matching.
All gold at this point, or no gold, silver? No.
There was silver.
So gold and silver. Okay.
Because I was in that hip hop field looking guy, wearing my baggy clothes and stuff. So I always wanted to sell these hip hop chains and stuff. And my dad said that is very expensive and heavy duty for us. So if you want, I can give you one of the showcases, build it up with silver hip hop jewelry, and see what you can do. One of the biggest stories that happened in my life with that I'm selling silver that is so nice and dated to up to date with the hip hop, big crosses, GCZ with all cubic zirconia chains, and all these silver were dipped in rhodium plating to make it look shiny, look like platinum.
Nice.
And people loved it because they never found it anywhere. I was buying it from California because my cousin in California, she's big there. We went to California. We linked up with like other wholesalers. And then from there, the choices started to come in. Okay.
Wow.
Now we were, using other parties to get our jewelry and displaying it, but with the taste of what we like. Mm-hmm. Now I had people actually give me their gold chains at that time for silver chains. Gold was at $5 a gram for 10 karat at the time, $6 we used to sell it. But the beauty of these silver pieces that we sold in there, it turned
the margins were beautiful on it.
Very much.
Because of your designs, you couldn't find them.
Yes.
So you guys were able to profit there beautifully.
And people back in the day, they loved that shine, the flash of the silver being plated.
Wow.
So it drives a lot of people toward our stores. We started to become very, very heavy and popular. Tarek started to get his papers. We had we had somebody that came in to see us within a year from the Canadian government to see, because they had a program for all people that comes from the Middle East, comes from different countries. Within a year, they visit them to see how they living, how they doing.
Oh, really?
Yes, because remember when we arrived 2001, July 15 it was, right? Yes.
July 15th, yeah.
So when we arrived 2001, July 15th in here, after then, the September 11 happened.
Oh, geez.
So when September 11 happened, there was a lot of focus on the Arab society and how they arrived to the world of North Americans or the European side.
So were they checking up on how you were doing?
How you doing?
What you're doing?
See you feeling?
Yeah.
Well, it could be both.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel it this way. It was actually very pleasant. The guy was very amazing.
Awesome.
He was very, very active in hearing my dad's story of being an engineer. And it turned out to be he was an engineer too. And he loved my dad's story with the petroleum companies. And, when an engineer meets another engineer.
Oh, yeah. They're geeking out.
Connect.
One says 1 + 1, the other guy says 2 + 2. That's how they work. And it always have to equal the right number. So 1 + 1 has to be 2. Cannot be 2 1/4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to be 2.
Yeah.
They're very sharp. So this guy was impressed of my dad's story and working with the petroleum company in Doha at the time. And he offered, my mom came into him and she goes to him, look, I bought this dining table and I bought it with all my kids, but I'm missing one. I have his chair, but he's not here. She's showing him how she bought him the pillows. She's showing him how she's thinking about it. And my dad, he's like, no, just calm down. Don't say that. But the guy, he's seeing my mom. He's like, you know what, guys, I'll help you guys out. I'll do whatever it takes to get this guy here. And he did. He actually did it. And Eric came in. And then as the journey starts, because we opened up our stores in there, as soon as we started, literally within weeks, we got into the business. We knew we were going to do business. We knew we were going to focus on that jewelry. And then when Tarek arrived, we decided to open the next store and create a diamond store versus Mediterranean or Middle Eastern kind of jewelry, gold stuff that my dad wanted us to sell for more ladies.
So then the next evolution was adding diamonds into the mix.
Yes.
And it was a store outside of this market.
No, it's in the same market.
A different
location.
Oh, no way.
Different stall within the same market.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, how it happened, we were all in that little booth. It's literally about 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters in the inside square. And you have a safe and you have a desk that you got to eat on and the computer and the cameras. And it's so tiny. And we got me.
Bumping into each other.
My dad, Tarek, my mom comes in on the weekend. And it's all of us in this one place. And
Bishop, you don't know them at this point, do you?
I came across Kilani Jewellery at their beginnings through word of mouth of another friend of ours that introduced me to the company. And I know that at that time, it was kind of like a startup, but they were already into it and doing business, and the diamonds were already into the process and into the market. But yeah, it's through word of mouth. And then I came across Kilani Jewellery and bought my first diamond ring coming from Montreal, because I was born and raised in Montreal, right?
No way.
So so I come to Toronto. I kind of
Who are you people? What wild stories?
I know him 19 years now, guys.
Wow.
I know him
19 years
19
now.
Yeah.
So I'm exploring the Toronto and everything.
Why
'cause
are
I'm
you
the
in
music-
Toronto?
So I'm in the music business. So I was in the French hip hop scene. So I was looking to expand that as a music producer, because I just like kind of split with my childhood friends making music, and you know how it goes when you do business with some friends. Sometimes it doesn't go the right way. So as a music producer, I'm like, let me expand, and I started to visit Toronto, and I felt like it was like a New York, but in Canada and the English market. So I was like, I need to get out there and see how it works, and through word of mouth, discovering everything, and then I come to came
I
across
probably
Kilani
had
Jewellery.
had 3-4 rings and diamonds that time when he came in to check it out. Like from,
You made sure he bought one of them, though.
definitely he did. He put it on layaway. We can remember now. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Put it on layaway. He's like, I'll go and come back. I'm gonna get that.
That's
ring.
the danger going to see you guys. You guys are such lovely people, and such brilliant salespeople.
it's worth it.
And it's the quality of the stuff so good. Sometimes I'll go back to Kilani because I don't know, I'm getting something or just looking at something for my wife. Every time I go, I'm warning everyone around me. I'm going to Kilani. I might be coming out of there with something for myself. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You know, you just never know what you're going to see in there.
Yes.
It's very dangerous.
Right.
It's a beautiful place to
It's
shop.
addicting.
I mean this as
It's
a
addicting.
compliment.
It is addicting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, so that's how you guys cross paths.
Yeah.
So let's take this to the new. So how from there then to this beautiful store, which I would call like a global headquarters of it. It's so beautiful where you are now. How do you get from there to where you are today?
I'll tell you, it's such a funny one because when we arrived here, we didn't have nobody, no families, no friends. So the level of stress that for young kids arriving here, the language is a little bit tough. Going to school, you're in a new class, new life, new language, new human beings from all around the world that we didn't see, because when we left Iraq, we only saw Iraqis.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Jordan, I saw mostly Jordanians. I went to Qatar, I seen the Qatarian people.
Yeah.
And because
to
my dad was in
Toronto.
a petroleum company, we seen English and we seen Americans, but it wasn't on the same level that you're here now. You're active in action with people from everywhere. Ukraine, Russia,
China,
India,
South America,
African, Jamaica. I got to know Jamaica. I didn't know Jamaica. I was like, where's Jamaica?
Yeah.
First time I heard about Guyana, I was like, Guyana? Where's the Guyana? I didn't know, like, honestly.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But the stress level for kids has started to rise because now you feel like there's a different, and it's really tough. Like if I'm here to talk about it and about how I felt at that time, because I changed so many schools from the second I left Iraq. So every year was a new school for me. And it's a new experience and a new friends.
New people, yeah.
New people. So it started to become tough now. I'm working
Especially at that age as well.
Oh, yeah. Like you're just 17, 18,
Yeah.
like now you're just on the rise. You just want to see the world. You want to be able to have the same friends to laugh with. But now you have to start building your friend at that age again, So just something that I got to advise all the young kids. And I tell you something, the biggest fans that I have is the young generation from the age of 12, I believe, to the age of 24. They all love Kilani, and they all show their families, mom, dad, we gotta go to this.
Exactly how we started.
Yeah, like I have kids at the age of 12 that actually bring in their families just so they can walk into the store, and I take them on a journey and introduce them to Kilani Jewellery. So on this note, I want to tell all the kids that never fail and never think you are going to fail. Because at the age of 12 to the age of 24, this is your prime. This is the time where you make your accomplishment, you hit your goals, and you make a difference. You can change as easily because you're still young. You don't have so much headache in life, like what my dad, let's say, went through. That was like tough. And for many other people like my dad, maybe it could be young people or like me, So there are people in the world that go through so much rougher, tougher time. And believe me, they might not find out who they are until they're at the age of 18 or 20. So with that said, like we found the stress level, and my dad was trying to make us like come together, and he's like, guys, I want you to take something in. You build your friends and turn them into family through this business. This is your way in. Make sure you take in anybody that comes into this business and you turn him into a friend and you change his mentality to become your family. Include him into the process. Make him see everything you do. Don't hide away anything. Don't lie to him about anything. Show him how it gets made. Show him why you know and you have that experience in making jewelry. Make him know that we have the experience in making jewelry through our ancestors. This is a heritage thing that we actually so proud of. Bring it in. Show it to them. Make them feel it, make them learn it, educate them, and do your best. From that moment, we knew how to handle our business. We started to take in the client. First, their walk-in client or walk-in customer, and then we turn them into a customer, and he starts to smile, just like you told me when you first came in. And then we literally turned him into family, and like him 19 years, you guys 4 years. And you know what? My biggest code to everybody, I tell them, a lot of people can't keep their friends for 5 years. I'm able to keep my clients for over 20 years. And I turned them into my family and friends. So you got to know how to do it. So I believe for the young.
Your father is such, you, Akram, to share that. Thank you for sharing that. Your father for teaching that to you. That's just a beautiful story to share. And you know, when you feel it, we didn't know walking into your store. When we called home, I think after the first visit, Aiden, when you brought us to Kilani, I remember calling home to Carol and she's like, I thought you guys were just going to, you know, some jewelry store. And, you know, why is it an hour and a half later or whatever? You were going to be, I don't know if we were going to be late for something or whatever it was. And I was explaining to Carol, I'm like, Carol, that you don't even understand what we.
This isn't just a jewelry store.
This isn't a jewelry store. We got a tour of all the showcases of all the jewelry, but then there's a back VIP room that we got a tour from. Aiden saw some celebrities' jewelries. I'm not sure if we're supposed to name the celebrities or not. And then downstairs in the basement, I'm like, Carol, we went in the basement, and then they have workers down there making and crafting the jewelry with
right in front of us.
Right in front of us. And then Tarek offered us eggs. We had some.
You know,
I go, I think we had some egg. I think we had some scrambled eggs or a couple Sunnyside eggs, or something. and then we got a hat and a T-shirt, and I go, I don't even know if we bought anything. Maybe we bought something. Maybe we didn't buy it.
We got the full experience.
But it was like, I go, Carol, this isn't like a store. Like we met the whole family.
It was an experience.
Yeah, I think we might have briefly met your father that time, and then now we've been back several times and bought multiple things, and then getting to know your father. And I knew some of this story. I didn't know all of the story.
Yeah.
But to see how gracious your father is today, sitting in that store, and now I understand the pride of him in that store, because it comes across. It's kind of like the lion, the wise lion of the pack, you know, who's sitting there, kind of really taking it all in. And him meeting Nick, my brother, different members of Rockstar have been there now. I kind of get it. Like I see clearly, and that's the real experience when you go to Kilani. Like it's just feeling like you're meeting another family.
I literally, that's what I felt when I met him 19 years ago. It literally felt like you know what I mean? We became friends, and then it became family, and it just grew from there.
And the perfect time for you too, Bishop, because if you're coming from Montreal to Toronto, I would imagine I don't have a big network here, right? And so to stumble into these guys, what are the odds of you stumbling into these guys? Do you ever think about that? That's just insane.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So then I'm curious. You do very well at this because of the way your father told you to treat everybody. The business flourishes.
Yes,
obviously.
The change happened there. We started to involve every client into everything, and we started to listen to them. So we were like, you know, outsourcing the jewelry in the beginning, and I'm telling them I can custom design. I love designing jewelry. I love making jewelry. You know, in the beginning it was difficult because I'm a young guy going into the industry of diamond setters and jewelers to actually make my job come together if I wanted to custom design. Knowing that, you know, you're brand new, people don't know you. You walk into the building and they see a young guy telling them, I want to custom design this cross. Can you help me design this or carve it with me? I want to show you how to do it. And in the jewelry business, I found it difficult in here because everybody felt like it was a secret. Like you don't want to allow anybody to see what you're doing. And basically, like every time I try to tell the designers to do something for me and tell them to do it that way, they kept telling me, no, it cannot be done. Why it cannot be done? Why cannot we give it a try? Like, you're using a computer to design anything. If the pharaohs were able to build a pyramid with no engineers, probably we don't know what they did and how they did it. Because excuse me, I still believe there's aliens involved to do this. Because if you take it back to the pharaohs, and if you see how they built the gold pharaohs, and you know the caskets, and how they're made out of 24 carats, and how big they are, and they actually have the bodies inside. When you take in any picture and do the study, and you split this casket from right to left, you're gonna find that this face that they made of the king, or the King Tut, whatever, is made perfectly. At that time, thousands of years ago, they were able to make jewelry that is so extravagant and hard to be made on our days right now with the technology we have. No way. You can't. There's no perfection. There's no way. Because when you come to cast gold, so if you're poor, you make your mold this big, and you come in to pour the gold. By the time the gold goes down, it's already cold.
Oh, got it. So how did they make such big forms?
How?
There must be some intelligence. So if it wasn't, I can't believe we're now venturing into the world of aliens, but if there was an alien or some technology there, it almost feels like there was some intelligent knowledge that we lost on this planet.
Right.
You know, with some kind of civilization that existed here that was just decimated, and we have no documentation of it other than some of these relics that show us. Because you're right, it doesn't make sense. How can we not do that with today's technology, but you have these that back then?
They have documentaries about how Jesus came and how every religion is, and they have everything documented. But how come they don't have any source of knowledge on how this really got made? For gold, I'm not talking about the pyramids. I'm talking about just this casket.
Old caskets.
You know what I mean? It's made out of gold, 24 carats. Like, you're pouring 24 carat, and you're creating a perfect shape, polished out, with no soldering, no lasering machine, perfection.
Insane.
So I was always looking at anybody that told me you can't do it. I look at them and I'm like, man, let's make a study. Let's go back and see how these guys did it. So when I was coming in to make big pieces, all the casters that pours the gold for me in my molds and stuff like that, when I hand them the molds to turn it into gold, they kept coming back with product that has holes in it, that when you come in to set diamonds and you're doing the drilling, you find it empty in the middle because it's such a big piece. By the time, it's not easy, so you have to learn. So I had to learn through my dad, because he's an engineer, and we had to sit down with all these people, and we tried to show them the way that we want to build our business, our designs, based on the knowledge that we have. We need you to follow what we tell you, and at the same time, understand what our client wants, because they want to be part of this process. They want to understand how it's made. Why not?
And this is what makes Kilani Jewellery different.
You know, all jewelers think it's a secret. Like, somebody is afraid maybe another jeweler is going to be succeeding and come to life. Man, there's no better way than teaching people. Like, that's what makes me and
that's
drives
why you were
me.
getting the word of mouth, Bishop, for you even to hear about these guys. They always took that style of approach.
Yes. So they wanted to feel like, they wanted to have feeling. The clients wanted to have feeling, because when you say I'm going to my jeweler, it's like you're saying I'm going to my family. My jeweler is something that, and in jewelry business, it all has to do with trust, because
throughout history, that's it. I feel like in North America, that feeling has been lost. People don't have that relationship. I almost feel like you're bringing that back into the culture here. That's what I feel like you're reintroducing. Like, there is some talk, if you talk to some older, maybe from my experience would be older Italian families, they would say, oh, my jeweler. Yes. And it would feel like part of the family. But I feel like that's been lost in different cultures that have come over into North America.
And Kilani has made that happen now today.
Yes.
Yeah, you're reintroducing that.
And I tell everybody, a lot of people ask me, young designers and jewelers, like we met a friend here right now, and they told me, how did you do it? And I just told them, believe in yourself. Never let nobody tell you how to do it or not to do it, and always gain your experience. Build it. Don't be afraid to teach people or show people, because they might show you something in return. You know, you might take your chances, you showing people, right? But there will be that one person that understands how you're thinking about life, and he thinks just like you, and he might open the door for you for something that you never learned. And that's what really happened. So we forced our way in on how to design the jewelry and make the jewelry for our client and make them involved into the process. And we were able to force the people that was working on our customizations at the time, before we moved into our store, the new store in Forest Hill, and we built our own factory there, and we created our own employment. And the talent that we have now, they're all under the Kilani Jewellery umbrella, but before it was a subcontract. So there's a lot of miscommunication could happen, and you don't want to lose that between you and your clients, because they believe that you're going to give them the whole story from A to Z. And when it comes down to jewelry, it's all about trust. Like, you come in to buy a diamond, a lot of people don't know nothing about diamond. They just want to know they got a good diamond for a good price.
So the Forest Hill store was the next stop?
Yes, well,
that was before where you are today.
Yes, we hit the rise. Like, our name actually traveled the world. Instagram happened 2012. Before 2012, I was trying to build my website. I did my best to do it, but no company I met with or people that told me that they can do and build websites at the time was able to handle such a big idea, because now there's so much jewelry you have to take shots of, and pictures and editing and uploading and understanding. So a lot of people, they thought that this is a very tough journey. So it was hard for me to find somebody that actually take me in and build, because even the numbers with the 300,000s or 400,000 quotations that they gave me to build the website at the time, I felt like that these people that gave me these quotations are not going to deliver, because it's such a hard way to explain, because you want the man that builds the website to understand who Kilani. How did it happen? When did they start? Like, what we going through?
Yeah, they're never going to get the full story.
You want them to be family.
Yeah.
So basically, they have to live in with us, work with us for a year or two for them to understand how to build our website, because it has to be touching. It has to reach our client the same way we reach our client in real life, face to face, So 2012 came in, and a friend of mine that I was asking him to build a website, who was friend with him too, and I don't want to mention names right now. He was trying to help me to build a website, but then he said to me, Kilani, there's this app you got to download. It's called Instagram, and you can actually post your photos there and videos, and I can make you a link that links to Instagram, and instead of us loading whatever you load into this page, it comes on your
game changing.
Yeah.
Game changing.
Now I became this photographer. I have left my jewelry business. You know what I mean? So I've been like, I go outside, I wash the asphalt to make it look nice, and I'm doing shots.
Yeah.
I created this box with the lights inside and with a little opening, and I'm like, I put the camera right through, and I have this spinning mirror that spins, and the ring will be spinning, and people are like, whoa, I've never seen a video like that. Oh my God, how did you do shots like that? Oh my God. But the reality is, we were already up in the standards in jewelry making at that time. When 2012 happened, we already have achieved celebrities overseas by word of mouth. And then when 2012, it was a kaboom, because everybody heard about Kilani Jewellery from everywhere. I traveled to Australia to introduce Kilani and made business in Australia. Yeah, one time I had to travel there for a weekend.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I left on a Thursday, I arrived on Saturday, because they're a day ahead. And then I came back on a Monday. I arrived here on Monday in the morning and gone to work.
Yeah, crazy.
Because you basically the time change.
Yeah, so with Instagram and social media, you could see the quality of your work through the pictures all over the world.
You guys were primed to run into Instagram. That was just a perfect marriage at a perfect time.
Wow. It made, when messages happened, it was the best way to have people arrive into my life by sending me a text. And every response I have got from any post and anybody that followed me, I always made sure as soon as the follow button gets clicked, we go on into their messages and send them a DM saying, thank you for the follow. We appreciate your support.
Wow.
People go crazy. They're like, man, who is this guy? No, man, your jewelry is awesome, man.
No one goes one step above like that.
Yeah, like, thank you for posting these things, And people kept getting surprised. And now you hit follow button, you get a message immediately saying, thank you for the support. Thank you for the follow. We appreciate you. People went crazy, and the journey continued on Instagram. I received Anthony Joshua as a boxer through DM. His first DM, he introduced himself to me. I didn't know who he is.
At the time, was he the heavyweight champion?
Yes, he was the heavyweight champion. So he sent me a DM. This is one of the stories, many other ones, but this is a funny one. He sent me the DM 2017, because we go back the other day, we were working 2017. I was like the end of it. And he's like, Kilani, I seen something you made for Emily Sandy. She's a R&B singer, very well known in England. She's under Jay-Z, so
Okay, got it.
same company, Rock Nation. And she made me make her shields for her and her manager and her sister. And she made me customize it to her liking with the queen crown, like nice. So we went back and forth, and I made it for her and I sent it to her. And from her, he's seen that shield and he's like, how did you get that done? And she's like, Kilani. So he DM'd me. And in that DM, he's like, this is who I am. I would like to start my jewelry and watches collections with you. If you don't mind, reply. I sent him a reply saying, call my number, 416-902-0287. But I didn't look at the profile because I get so much DMs. So I'm just trying to get them. I turned them from
you didn't know
messages
like a
on
heavyweight
DM.
champion of the world
Yeah.
at the time.
Not only that,
Flooded
because
with DMs, you need to transition into the text.
no, because I want to take like the human being that's DMing me. I want to turn him into my cell phone so I can build a connection now. I don't want to feel the connection through DM.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not personal.
So I did my part. I thanked you. I appreciate the follow, and I'm doing my best to be there for you. But anytime you're gonna need anything or ask anything, call me. I'll be able to provide you all the information you need. You know. So that's why I was that guy.
Cool.
So he actually pick up, calls me. Hey, my name is Anthony Joshua. Watching him, you know what I mean? I was like, can we go on FaceTime? He's like, yeah. I was like, man, how did you know about me? And he's like, through this singer Emily Sandy. I was like, man, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a boxer. I was like, well, you know, I gotta go to return and make my research about you, man. So he actually fell in love that I didn't know him, you know what I mean? Like, I still didn't know him, and I'm still talking to him, and we're on FaceTime, and I'm asking him, yo, bro, what do you do? Because his muscles and stuff like that, I was more chubbier than. And then we started from there. We started to design, and he asked me to design the logo because he doesn't have a logo. It used to be Anthony Joshua, his signature, but he didn't like it. He wanted a logo. He wanted a real logo. And back and forth took us like over a year, basically.
Wow.
Because if I go back through even the DMs, because I'm submitting stuff for him on DM and messages on WhatsApp and stuff, and yes or no, and we made so much different designs. In the end, he's like, man, you know what? That shield you made for her, can we make something similar? But I want to make my own shield. Like, I don't want it to look like her, but I have an idea. I want to be able to put the number of the building where I grew up. I want to put, a panther. I want to put my initials in it, and I want to put the map of where I am from. I was like, okay. So we designed shield with the king crown. We put it together. Now it came out, back and forth. We finally settled on the last design. He's like, this is awesome. I want to order 1 white gold, 1 yellow gold, 1 rose gold, all buzzed down, big pieces that these are for me only. And I'm going to send you the list of every person that I'm going to buy. I want you to make the same shield. Tiny little one for kids and ladies. Medium one for all my team members and friends and management, lawyers, everybody that's around me, trainers, everything that's in my life. I was like, okay. He goes missing for a week. He sends me this list. I can't even keep up because it's the names of who they are, where they're from. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Number, everything.
Monster list.
yeah.
Crazy.
I was like, wow. And the list goes on, and it was like over 50 pieces for the little
Holy.
one, and over 100 pieces for the medium one and the 3 big ones.
Wow.
Bro, I couldn't even fit it in the tray, so I put whatever is that one big tray, and I had other trays, so I started to photo one by one. But then I said to myself, because it was hard to present everything, on Instagram. It was just the beginning, and like I'm by myself, and I'm trying to figure out how I can fit everything, and you have like short times, like short time videos. So I keep posting every tray on its own. Now we have to package it and get it to him on Christmas, man. Do you know what? I quit working basically to get this job done for him on the highest level, so he realized that even if he received a champion ring in his lifetime, he's going to look at these ones and he says, this is my best trophy. This is my best champion pendant I ever made. Because the quality, I cared about every single thing. And then I added because he said, he always says Lionheart twins. So I took Lionheart wins. I created a line from the English League, put them in the back. One of the English League, they have the lion with me. Put them in the back of the pendant as a surprise, enameled it, and I engraved Lionheart twins. Always.
Cool.
And that became something that I did it, and now I'm scared because I enameled it with black. I did the engraving without talking to him. So now I'm ready. I called him.
Gonna be?
I was like, there is something in the back of all these pieces that is a surprise for you, and I can't show it to you. And he's like, no, you have to show me. This design is just, no. Over a year, we're going through this. You have to show me. So I flipped it. And his brain went,
Boom.
and then he's like, I want you to add 2 things there. I was like, what do you want? And he's like, I want to add the speed of my punch. And I was like, okay. And then he sends me, it was like 0.5 something, or I don't know, there's like the numbers I have.
Yeah.
And I did it, and we shipped it out for him all to England. And he received it. And from then, he still orders. And now I have an order of 17 pieces in the factory of the same pieces. 3 of them is the small one, and 13 of them, so 16, and 13 of them of the medium.
The medium.
Wow.
And then I guess someone like that, you put that on Instagram if he allows you. Other celebrities start reaching out, and the legend of Kilani now takes on a life of its own. It already was, but now this reaches a new level. And now we're to the point now with Kilani Jewellery that if I see a Toronto Blue Jay pitching, or somebody in the NBA playing, I'm looking, because you guys have a very special clasp that I love. I think you call it the Kilani clasp.
Yes.
And if I sometimes see someone wearing, I'm like,
and have the clasp.
Yeah, I'm like, I think that's from Kilani. And I see someone in another city, and they'll have the Kilani clasp.
Yeah.
You get excited.
And I get it. Yeah, because I feel like, hey, they're part of the family. This is kind of like a little symbol.
I think
it says, hey, I know you.
It's a signature, though.
And
it's a great clasp. Yeah.
Look, we worked with a lot of celebrities, and while I was building my Instagram, or our Instagram, Kilani Jewellery, I was the main figure that answers and talk and make the postings and the ideas. No one was allowed. I was very tough because I want everything to look aligned. And
you want it to be done how you want to do it.
And going through it, then I wanted to make sure that I never use music of any other like singers or rappers or whatever. I tried to use like just normal, no voice, until I met him, but I'll tell you how it happened. I tried not to do that, so I don't want no artist or somebody or management to ever reach out to me and say, okay, man, you use my song, that's why your video hit.
Got it.
So I made sure I was like, and because I'm building my Instagram and I'm receiving a lot of people from all over the world, and I'm making orders and I'm selling in celebrities. We worked with Drake from 2013, 2014, we started working with Drake, and we created a lot of pieces for him, the team, and then, but we never posted him. We never posted anything we made. We even made like the big ruby tear thing with the OVO, and
I've seen a couple of those pictures.
It became like the biggest thing at the time.
So that was intentional that you didn't post it.
Not because intentional, it's because I wanted to give him the value of who he is. He came to me privately. So there are a lot of celebrities and athletes that actually reaches out to us and want to be discreet on what they're doing, what type of gift. So we wanted to take that mentality that we want to keep them as family no matter what. So we can't be exposing them for just anything, just trying to gain business off his shoulder. So we made sure we maintained that until he actually tagged Kilani Jewellery 2016.
Drake did?
Yes, with the big O.
Yeah, that's the one actually we saw when we first walked in. That piece happened to be in the store, and then we saw that there.
And he said, how did he say it? He's like, made by the same family, because I'm Canadian. Made it so he felt like he included us to all his family. That's the day I was able to actually repost him, and I felt like, okay, all of you guys have to know that this guy has been a legend in my life for so many years, and now we're right there. The world knows it. From there, we realized we had to make a shift, because we had the Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills management and everybody there knows us, and we have a lot of the guys from there.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
From a long time, from the free market time. And then one time, some of them, because they wanted to know who's Kilani Jewellery. They received jewelry from us, but they want to meet this guy, you know. But,
where are they getting the jewelry from?
I never showed our location, how it looked like. I only showed the jewelry. So everybody sees the jewelry so stunning, but they don't know I'm in a flea market. And when they ask me, I don't say come to the flea market. I say come to the address. And then when they arrive, man, like Alk Monopoly, he called me. He's like, bro, I'm right here, but I just see a flea market. It's like, yeah, just come on in inside the flea market. This is one. You know, he's like, okay. He's like, bro, I never thought you would be in the flea market. I was like, man, you came here for the jewelry, right? He's like, yeah, and he bought a pinky ring and stuff for me. That's Alk Monopoly. He's one of the best artists that I follow, actually. And I didn't know him even
before
until he arrived. Because I got a call that he's on his way to me, and they gave him my number.
Wow.
And I didn't know who he is, and I talked to him, and I was like, I'm ready for you. Come on in. And Mojo, he's like, because Mojo, he's younger than me, so he knows all this. He's like, do you know who this guy is? And he started to show me. He's like, never show his video. He's always like this. He's always like, you know, he covers up his face. So he's like, don't show him in a video. Make sure. I was like, yes, but we have a lot of videos of him covering and stuff. So the Buffalo team, a lot of the players decided to come in together on a trip and drive into Kilani. And then when they finished, they wanted to go to Yorkdale Mall or shopping because they wanted to go for brands. They arrive. We have a full picture with all of them. It's actually that picture I made my mom, because my mom was there. So I made my mom and my wife take a picture with them, you know? And they're all there. And when they arrived, they're like, no way, you're in a flea market. We dealt with a lot of jewelers. And nobody has the same quality in a flea market. Like, what are you doing? But because we set our standards high and really took advantage of the experience that we had in the jewelry and forced our idea and our client's idea to be actually made with the highest level. Like when you talked about the lock, I was in the process to make a strong lock, because the lobster lock is the easiest lock.
You're always worried, especially if you have a decent sized chain. You're always worried that lock's it's going to break.
Not only that, because, you know, if you have a heavy chain and the lobster locks, the way they go, they're very thin. In a lifetime, the gold is soft, it wears off and you can lose it if it's a heavy chain fast. So we decided to design the lock. We made the barrel lock, but we made it with the locking system that goes directly in the middle, like a male and a female. But when we made it, and I kept saying, oh, this is the strongest lock now, it's not going to ever break. My friend bought it, and we were at a dinner, like chilling with my friends, and that guy was there. We got a little bit tipsy, drinking, you know. And this guy, he looks at me, and he's like, Kilani, so you're telling me if I pull my chains, twist, won't break? I was like, try. He goes like this. He pulled with this twist, the locks right away. The lock, the male itself started to twist, and it broke off, and the chain came into my hand. He's like, here we go. Simple way of action. I realized the way he twisted the chains before he pulled, it twisted the locking system. The male that goes and locks in, it got twisted and broke, and it came. So I was like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. What should I do?
Yeah.
He looked at me. He's like, man, I want you to go back. That's my friend. And do a study and make sure you come out with the best lock that no other guy like him can do this to you in front of anybody. I looked at him and was like, done. I'm going back. I'm not going to sleep until I figure this out. Definitely, I go back to my dad.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. The
brain has to come in.
Yo, man, this guy is intelligent.
Amazing.
You know? So, you know, I go to him. You got to figure it out. Like, you have something. You have a chain. You're trying to tow a car or a plane. What type of lock system can you make that can go through that link, and you can lock it and be able to tow, pull, do anything without having that lock break or crack or twist? And exactly, I focused on the twisting part. Like, I don't want no twist and pull, because that's when you find your weak spots, you know. Back and forth. And then he's like, anything you like from the side, it will be always more stable because it's hugging it instead of you inserting it in. Do you understand what I mean? I was like, okay, because that's how actually all the heavy duty locks, they lock in.
I noticed,
you know?
yeah.
So like, okay, now we figured something out. Let's go back. Let's figure it out, that design. And we were able to create it. Now we wanted to actually make these locks and have them available for all our chains.
Yeah, you had to get your guys to figure out how to craft these things.
Yeah, so we had to work. We had to invest. Now you have to put money up front to make these locks. Invest in gold and the design and the finish, because you're just making locks. You're making locks in different sizes, different color of gold, and different carats, because at the market we were selling 10, 14, 18, 21 and 22 carats. So now you have to make a lock for every chain, right? It costed a lot of money, but we knew that there is going to be a better return. Now we had to insert all these locks into the chains and find people like you that actually love them.
Yeah, and I think it becomes another selling feature for the chain, because not only is the jewel. I remember asking Tarek about the chains, and I'm like, "Where are these chains from?" Because before I was skeptical because I hadn't seen a real proper jeweler. So I'm like, where are you guys? Where are you guys getting these chains made? Where's the gold from? And he was telling me the gold's from. I think he was saying the gold's from Italy.
Yes, that's right.
We go to Italy regularly, and we tell the guys in Italy. And I'm like, you guys are telling the guys in Italy what to do. That's when he told me a little bit about the family story. So I knew there was some, intelligence there, which was, impressive. And then he said the chain has this special lock, the Kilani clasp, and and it turned the chain into, you had this unique selling feature for me.
Yes.
Which there was a beautiful chain, and the gold was brilliant, but then there was this extra thing that no one else had. So for your business, it's just yet another thing that worked to your advantage.
Totally.
And probably still does. I'm sure you guys find that.
It's the
so you were like layering on like family knowledge and family history. You were layering on good quality work and good product, and then you were layering on unique features. All these things together just worked to your advantage.
Do you know all these things that happened? I go back and give it out to my clients and everybody that came in my life, because we really like when my dad said, involve every client into the process, turn him from a regular human being that's walking to shop to somebody that he can feel like he's your family. Like, you got to do it. That's how you're going to prove yourself. So listening up to the people and seeing their complaints about everything that we done in the past or gone through in the past, or maybe just listening to what their experience was.
Feedback, yeah.
That made us work toward what makes us better.
Yeah.
All you got to do, listen up to the people you're working with. And maybe, like I told you never know. In the way of this world run, you have to give a chance to other people to allow you to be better. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, hear out from them, because maybe not everybody you're going to listen to maybe makes a difference in your life. But if you give a chance to more than one person, there will be that one person that's going to hit that spot.
Totally.
And turns you all upside down. It's got to be something.
And then fast forward to today, Kilani Jewellery is the official jeweler of the Toronto Raptors.
That's crazy. I know.
That is crazy.
So you had some Raptors obviously getting jewelry.
I know Fred Van Vliet.
I don't know if we're allowed to say his, and I feel like I saw a picture or something.
No, I think it's open that.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, we deal with a lot of the athletes, and all the athletes and celebrities are proud of us, proud of having to see the achievement and success. Exactly the people that actually been through the market with us.
Yeah.
And seeing who we are, like where we lived, when we took the first bus, to the first ride, to the first mattress, the real mattress, and from a real mattress to a flea market in Scarborough, and then you opening up and you painting the wall, not knowing what's the outcome, but you just had a goal, like you set. Like when you set a goal and you follow and you continue, even if you fail, it's easy. You can just hit it again and hit it again, because this is part of life and experience. Sometimes people, when they take their first loss, they say, okay, they give up. But your first loss is your first setup. You set yourself up, and the very most important, setting your standards. Once you go low, people will look at you low in any way, in construction, in engineers, in convenience store. If you bring yourself down and you have all these, could be like people, well, I feel sad for them, but they drove themselves to be on the street and then just hanging out and conducting business with these people that have no life. Even if you're a convenience store owner, you're not going to make it. You need to mix yourself around people that can brighten your day, give you some type of features in life, or some type of tips that makes your life better, you know. So,
and the passion of what you're doing comes through. You don't know this about our story, but
I would love to hear it.
Well, we don't have for another day.
I'm
Some people on this podcast have heard some of the stories. We don't have to get into. There's a piece of the story I want to share though. When Nick and I quit and we could only afford the closet of the first real estate brokerage we were in, they had a closet that they had turned into an office, and we needed an office, but that's all we could afford. So we took the closet as our office, and then we left that brokerage and got our own executive suite, which was just 2 10-by-10 rooms in Burlington in some office. That's all we could really afford for our own offices. But these offices were they were part of a sandwich bar. So in this little office building, there was like a little cafe that sold sandwiches to people in the building. And in the back of that, the guy was renting out some little rooms that he had extra rooms to businesses, and that's all we could afford. Wow. So when we went into business, we would tell some of our clients, okay, meet us at this address. They would come into the sandwich shop and they would start looking around.
Oh my.
Yeah, and they would start looking around, and we'd say, no problem, you bought a property with us. Thanks for trusting us, which they did. And I think they felt that we really cared for them. We're like, just leave the deposit check with the lady who's making the BLT sandwich.
Oh my.
She will take the deposit check. So we would have some realtors come in who didn't know us at all. And if we were on the road, because Nick and I were hustling, running around everywhere, trying to make sales, trying to survive. If we couldn't be there to greet them, because we would run out and greet them. Like, yes, here we are. This is really our office. We would say, yeah, just leave the check, please, with this lady. Don't worry. And I don't know how, but people trusted us. They did. Wow. And we were in the back of this. And then eventually we got our own space. We were paying the landlord, and he wasn't paying the main landlord. Oh. So we had the doors get locked on us. Nick had to break in to get our equipment out. They called the police on us.
Oh my!
Because we were running a brokerage. It was crazy. We got our other office, and then eventually we bought. The space you're in now, we bought these 2 units and made 1 unit. This is our space now, and we just feel grateful because the journey, like you guys, is just madness. So to hear your journey,
commonalities there.
Yeah, so it's such similarities that I didn't know, and the flea market one especially. It doesn't matter when you do good quality work and your love for it, and you have the knowledge and the wisdom that your family has. Yeah. The location doesn't ultimately matter. Right. People see right through that. But in business, when I'm talking to people, sometimes they think their storefront has to be perfect or their pamphlet has to be perfect. I'm like, there's value there, yes. But who you are as a person and the principles you stand by and what you're bringing to market and the way you connect with other people matters more than anything.
Correct.
And you guys are just a beautiful example of not only a wild immigrant story into Canada, like completely wild, but then to start the store, a completely wild business story, like to go from Kilani in that market to see Kilani on the Raptors floor when you turn on a Raptors game, you see Kilani, like to go from the flea market to there is just
you're giving me goosebumps, man.
It's insane, man. No, so like I
do you know how I actually got them?
No.
You want to know the story?
Tell us the story.
Yeah, we want.
It's actually crazy. I never knocked the door. They knocked the door on me. So it was a beautiful moment to hear them speak to us and say they want that to happen,
I'm sure.
When they won the champion, and which is every...
Oh, so I think I know a little bit of the...
2019.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite, and it's the funniest because even when I got to talk to all the delegates from the Raptors and the MLSE and the lawyers and everybody that's actually from the senior positions to lower positions, we always talked about that moment, that ring, that I made. So that they won the champion, knowing me, I'm here all about the hip hop culture. I fell in love with basketball. I never knew nothing about basketball. I know soccer, and I didn't know it was soccer. I know it was football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here I got the correction. So as we are working, and we seen the champion things happening, we really thought they're going to knock the door and say, Kilani, you have to be making it because you're the biggest thing. Like you have a story behind your business.
You're also in Toronto.
Manufacturing. We just opened our stores and like in the Forest Hall, our complex is so big and crazy and reflected on everybody around in Toronto. So I really thought that. So I started to prepare, me and my brothers, to customize and design our own ring. And I was like, we designed it, and I made my own. I was like, I'm going to make my own. If they don't come, they don't come. But what happened is, as we were going, we knew that the contract, we didn't know how it does work. We didn't know there's bidding and stuff like that. So we just thought they're going to knock at the door at that time. We're going through it. I made the ring. as soon as, like almost 5 days before they posting their champion ring, we created our videos on the champion ring. We created a whole play about Van Vliet, you know, and the process of how he fought hard, because he's my main client from the Raptors.
Yeah.
From before.
And how he fought so hard throughout the playoff, up to like when him with Kevin Durant and he's bleeding and we're taking the commentators' voices, and
I think he had a kid in the middle of the playoff.
yeah, and like everything that happened to Van Vliet, and Van Vliet, another one, Van Vliet, never defeat, and like all these words, and like we built a sick video that is a 5-minute video. It shows all the talent of his hard work throughout the playoffs, up to him celebrating at the parade.
Yep.
And then from there, walking into Kilani Jewellery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and as he walks into Kilani Jewellery and the champion ring starts to play.
Spinning
And then
everything.
it's crazy, man. Over 27,000 people shared this ring within less than a day.
Wow.
More than what I got for likes. It was shared. All I see.
Sure. Yeah.
I was like, kaboom. And all you see, the first comment in that video, Van Vliet eyes up. Because they were all in Japan at that time playing just before they get the ring. So, you know how every champion goes to play somewhere. So they were playing in Tokyo. And I knew when I posted, that was the moment they're actually in the change room. And I was like, let's do it so we can get Van Vliet to make every player knows about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Everyone in the management to know.
Smart.
And we posted it at that moment, and it did become kaboom at the change room for sure. And that's why, you know, Van Vliet commented before the game started. So we knew we made a hit. And then we had the MLC and the NBA reach out to us on the phone. Hello, can we speak to the owner? Yes. They spoke to Terry. It's so funny. That's the first guy.
And he knew the
At first.
least of the NBA, probably. He
Yes.
probably knew that.
Now Tarek was able to handle the business. Like, okay, whose ring is this? He's like, oh, this ring is designed by us and it's made for my brother. He's like, why is it on the website? Because we still had our Instagram link to the website, so you see it in the bottom. He's like, well, we received a complaint from the jeweler that made the champion rings. And
The champion ring didn't come out yet at that time.
yeah.
Got it. But this one jeweler had won the bid to make it or
Exactly.
whatever. Got it.
Yes,
So they were,
well, and everybody saw the attention on that ring, you know, so. And not to take down on the champion ring, this is the best, most beautiful moment in our life for every Canadian.
Sure.
To actually receive a champion ring.
Totally, yeah.
You know, so we're not taking nobody down in here. I'm just telling you the funny
course.
story.
Yeah,
how
yeah,
we
yeah.
became friends. And big up to all the people that actually work with the MLSC and everyone around the Raptors. And we appreciate all their work ethic and everything they have done with us throughout the last year of our contract. And we're looking for big things to come up this year. And we have a lot of plans for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But now the guy is talking to Tarek, and he goes to him, it's for my brother. He's like, well, you need to take down that ring immediately. Now I'm in the picture. I'm like, talk to me.
Yeah.
I want to know. Like, come on. I'm like, Tarek's like, I was like, okay. So I'm hearing about Tarek talking about the ring. I was like, boom, we got it. And he goes to him, can I have you guys' emails? I go to Tarek, make sure you tell this guy to actually send an email, because we don't know if this is a real person from NBA or MLSE, you know, like we have to know, you know. Tell him to email so we know that's him, and attach the ring information of what they're talking about with the picture of that ring on this email. We received the email. I see, let's see, NBA, blah, 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 and I see my ring, description of my ring. And I was like, boom, now my ring is recognized, you know? And this is literally what I really wanted to achieve, you know what I mean? Like, wanted them to recognize our
That's
hard
cool.
work,
To see it.
who we are, to see it. Like, I only did it because I couldn't believe the Raptors ever would take it. And that was a moment that I want to remember for the rest of my life. And I wanted to put kind of like a status to show our achievement from a country to a city, you know? Same way when you said, you know, I wear my gold chain because to show, you know, like, I don't believe in the paper print, I believe in the gold. I believe people invest or buy in gold to feel in their achievements, that they are capable.
Totally.
They are ready. They know they can afford it, and every piece tells a story that when you buy.
For sure. It also, and I want to get to, I want to conclude the Raptors thing. It's also, to me, it's like part of my family lived through hyperinflation in Croatia.
Yes.
And my aunt was in the bazaar there selling eggs. On the side, she was dealing dinars that were losing value for German marks.
Oh.
And then the government there caught her doing that and put her in jail for 2 months.
Wow.
All she was trying to do was make, a living. And other people were trying to protect their purchasing power, trying to get rid of the dinars for German marks, and it was illegal. She went to jail for 2 months for that.
That is crazy.
So this chain represents, it's to me, it's not just a gold chain.
Wow.
It just represents a lot of what our family kind of went through. She didn't have real money, but anyway.
She probably had a gold ring, that's for sure, because our ancestors and people.
Gold. They valued gold.
Yes, they did. They look at gold as their biggest achievement in life, and to show their status,
and as a
saving, because they always thought about it as a rainy day safe haven. Jewelry at the time, and it is.
Yeah, so me coming to you was not only that I was in a place where I can afford something like that, which I couldn't before, but it also represented something to me and my family, right?
Yes.
You guys were making something, and not knowing the whole story, you're making something that's very meaningful to me. And then for my son to be there, my brother,
the whole family.
Carol has, I don't, just the whole, we're all in on Kilani. But so, sorry, conclude the Raptor journey there.
Yeah, now...
And then we'll let you go. I feel like we're taking you so long.
No, I'm enjoying it because this is the realest story. And to have people like you guys, I seen when I first walked in here, I really felt the vibe. I felt like you guys are us, like us, one of us.
Thank you.
I felt like I have the same skin of you that don't make no difference but of good feelings. And seeing you working with your brother, your family, your wife, your kid right here, like, wow, Eden, thank you for bringing your dad. This is a very, very pleasant moment for me. Okay,
no, thank you guys for coming on.
And I actually gained more faith, more love, more belief in all of you guys because of that family unity. It's really hard, and we said it. It's really hard for people to actually put a unity together and move as one unit, as one pack. I remember you saying, my dad is like, when you walk in, you see him like a lion. I see him as a horse, always running. And I'm always betting my money on that horse. As old he gets
Smart. That's the smart bet.
Right there.
Yeah. So he, he's the horse. He drives us. Even when we posted, he made sure that the caption was written so well that if any lawsuit actions or anything happens, because it's we don't know what the outcome. We're just doing a post for a ring and videos, and we had videos of everything, and I had to send my camera guys to the parade and at nighttime and receiving the cups and all that. So he wanted to make sure everything to be properly written, back and forth with big shots or Billy or Biggie, many B's in his life, And so we wrote it correctly, that no one will be able to say, okay, because we didn't say we made it for the Raptor. We said
violating any policy.
It's an inspirational ring that was designed and made for Kilani for the winning of the Raptors. That was it. We even made sure we made it clear, so whoever reads through the lines, he will know.
Inspired of
this is an inspirational ring only, not an inspirational ring of another ring, because this is like, I didn't know how that ring looked like, So we received the email, we going through it, we started to talk, lawyers got involved, so we make sure we don't make no mistakes. And they're like, we really love this design. Like, this design is awesome. Who designed it, really? So it was the help of Mojo, Tarek, me, we were back and forth. So they're like, one day we're going to come see it. Now we need you to take it down from all social media.
This season, everything.
I looked at them and I told them that was the best thing to ever happen to me, because the reason of me posting this post and making this ring, it was not to become enemy. I wanted to become your friend. And here we are talking on the phone and having to conduct conversations. And I was able to receive an email directly from the main guy, and that makes me happy. This is all I wanted, Thank you very much. I'm taking it.
That's cool.
And we took it down. We took everything down. A year later, less than a year, within the time that before the summer league started, they sent in their delegates to actually understand who Kilani is, see the ring, and understand what's going on inside there. They came in. I took them on a tour like everybody, and they seen the craftsmanship. They seen the work. they seen the ring, they seen the quality of our diamonds and stuff, and that was a good way to present, introduce them to Kilani, and at the same time have them go home with t-shirts, everything that involves Kilani Jewellery, including food,
and they became family.
And they became family. And you see, like, we can turn anybody. Like, you don't have to do business to turn a human being to a family. It's very simple. You just gotta allow people to become normal and be able to conduct any type of conversation with you as they feel uncomfortable. Like,
kind of respect.
Yeah, like once people achieve that, like I told you, when I walked in, I feel like I'm part of you. Like, I feel like your skin.
We were having a team meeting when you came in. So usually we'll greet you more. We'll have we'll be at the door opening the door. So it was in his hands to greet you, run out and greet you.
No, I love it. I appreciate it. Everybody greeted us nicely here. So, and I know Billy's happy to be here too.
Yeah,
awesome.
So, guys, if someone's listening to this and wants to see the beautiful jewelry's Instagram, still the right place to go. Can you give out the Instagram handle again? You mentioned it a while ago.
So it's at Kilani Jewellery.
At Kilani Jewellery. We'll link to it in the show notes here.
Put everything in.
Definitely.
And the website's KilaniJewellery.com. It's like Eglinton and Avenue Road, roughly, if someone's trying to picture where the store is.
Yeah, remember that the jewelry, the way you spell it, is the Canadian way, because we're Canadians. And we're a proud Canadian company.
Why is jewelry one L, or would it be one L?
So
really?
Some form is one L, but with Kilani Jewellery is double E, double L-E-R-Y.
Yeah, Jewellery.
Yeah.
So the double L with the E-R-Y at the end at the same time. So
And then for anyone else wondering, listening, can you buy watches too?
Yes. So for all the people that comes into Kilani Jewellery and looking for rare watches that they can't find in the market, we source the watches and we help a lot of people. Like today, I have a client that's coming in to see me. He's been waiting on a watch for over 2 years, and his anniversary with his wife coming up this week. So he feels like he lied to his wife because she's been waiting for 2 years for that watch.
Yeah.
You know, because she doesn't want any other watch. She wants that watch, that face, that style.
Oh, geez.
So he's been wandering around thinking that he's gonna get it. So he had to call us and say, "Yo, I need your help. My wife is gonna
need to find this for me."
Yeah, get me this watch. So we actually organized it. He's coming to pick it up today.
Cool. So you dipped into your resources, your network. And
yeah. So like selling watches, it has opened up a door for us too, because like we never was in the watch business or anything. We're more really.
I know you were decorating them. If someone wanted diamonds,
just busting them down, adding diamonds to them. You know what I mean? Helping the people to get the right shine on. You know, but. My younger brother was really smart. He really loves watches, and he has a lot of knowledge in watches. Mojo, the younger one. So one day he came in and he's like, "Guys, I believe we should invest some money in the watches because I feel like it's going to go up in value. Everybody wants to buy a Rolex. Everybody wants to buy an AP. Everybody wants to buy a Richard Mille. Everybody wants to buy a Frank Miller. Every name keeps coming up." And he's like, "I know the watches that is the most popular in the market, and we should invest in it." In the watches business, you still can go to Rolex at the time and get a discount on a watch. You know, you find them everywhere. So my dad and I, you know, I looked at him. I was like, "No, bro, it's better like this. The client wants it. We bring it. We make that little change, and that's it." My dad is like, "No. Let's see what the path look like. Every one of you guys have improved himself and know what the real investment should be in, and you know what, we gotta listen to each other." He felt that way, let's go that way. He started to buy watches, and he bought the right watches, and he kept saying, "If I sell you this watch, I'm not gonna give it to you. I have to make sure I replace it before I give you that watch." So when he sells the watch, he makes sure he replaces every watch that he invested his money in. So if it, in case it goes up in value, he knows he still has it. He made money as he sold it, but he replaced it at the same time.
Cool.
So there's no losses in it. And you know, as COVID hit,
it's impossible to get one.
it was a kaboom, you know what I mean? And he was the smartest one on that position. So
yeah,
he made us learn watches. He made us focus on, and we hired someone that actually repairs and
did you
refurbish and polished it, watchmaker. And he's actually an older gentleman with 50 years of experience. He's 76 years old, you know. Now you can't find talent like this in the watchmaking anymore, because all the young guys, they want to just be on computer. And that's why I think these watches are going to still rise in life, because we don't know what the future has for us for the young generation, are they going to be able to repair this watch or not, And that's when it becomes difficult.
You're right. It's almost like you give me flashbacks to your conversation of the lost knowledge of how the tombs were formed with gold and how that knowledge was lost. There's almost this next level of knowledge in jewelry and watchmaking.
And diamond setting.
And diamond setting as well? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, really? Dwindling away. And yeah.
This is what it is. Like, we have to fight to keep the knowledge we have on us right now to be passed on. We have to teach it because, like I told you in the beginning, all the jewelers, they believe it's a secret business. Maybe I teach him, maybe he's becoming a jeweler. He's going to become my neighbor. Man, I did business and succeeded between 30 jewelers in the flea market. And these people had 10, 20 years of experience in that market with their clients already there. And we were able to break the barriers, make our own business without interfering with anybody. And build our own clientele. That's from overseas, celebrities that would have never walked in there. But they did the walk in there. So, yeah, like it's
an amazing story.
Wow, yeah.
So feel blessed,
yes.
Grateful to have crossed paths with you guys.
Same here.
So thank you. And thanks for putting up with us. I think our schedule is changing. Bishop, me and you communicated back.
Yeah.
And every time we rescheduled this date.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, you never have to apologize. It's just when you're busy and things are going on, that's how it is, right? And we're dragging you out to Oakville here. Yeah. So
thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Worth it.
Thanks for making the commitment.
At some point, we'll do this again.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Eden, like, if I do it, I'll do it with you alone.
Yeah, me and you.
So we can talk about your dad's story.
Totally. Yeah.
Me inspired.
Yeah, we should do it.
Today, anything else to share today? Or are we
No,
good? Yeah.
I just want to bless everyone that's with us, and thank you so much for this amazing invite. Thank you. I appreciate you, Tommy. Like,
thank
amazing.
You. Awesome.
Thank you, Eden.
Thank you.
No. Thank you guys.
Quickly share what's next for Kilani Jewellery, though. I think it's worth sharing.
Oh, what's next for Kilani Jewellery?
There's one update in my mind I forgot about. Yeah, thank you, Bishop.
Update.
Yeah.
There's so much going on at Kilani every day. So one of the stories is the Miami store coming up.
Boom.
We bought our own building there.
Awesome.
Accomplished our name with our home. Remember, we couldn't afford but rent. We bought our building here. We all have homes. And now we bought our building in another side of the world. So
congratulations.
This is like the biggest movement. Yeah, thank you.
So is the Miami store open or?
The office is ready, the headquarters office, because we know after this we have like Dubai planned and many other places. But we want to make sure the Miami store accomplish what Toronto accomplished and move on to the next side of the world. So
boom.
Yes, there's so much. Keep up with Kilani Jewellery.
That's awesome.
Well,
keep up.
The story evolves. The story evolves.
Yes.
We'll do a podcast with you in Dubai at your store. How about that? When you open them in Dubai, we're going to come there and do a podcast.
Believe me, when I
say I'm committing to this, and I know he's going to make it. You guys,
yeah.
Sure.
Yes, it's always whenever you say something, you always have to stick it in
Miami
mind.
And now I know, and that's what crossed my mind. I'm like, I can't believe I just said that because now if they're opening in Dubai, we're having to go do a podcast.
Exactly.
But we're going to do a podcast in Dubai with Kilani on your store.
I love you. Good job. Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for tuning in. You can find every new episode of the Your Life, Your Term show on all the major streaming platforms. So Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. And if you'd like to get free copies of some of the books that we've put together, like these right here, or some of the reports that we've put together, like these right here, you can find all of those at www.rockstarinnercircle.com. That's www.rockstarinnercircle.com. That's it for now. Until next time, your life, your terms.